up, everybody? It's your girl Zoe with another episode of From the Beginning. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Romie, and she goes by Roman with Romie.
Hello, everyone.
This girl right here is a traveler, and guess where we are right now? Tell them where we are, Romie.
We are in Mexico City, Mexico. Here for the 3-day weekend.
Yes, we are.
Living our best life.
Okay, y'all see the sun glistening on the skin?
Right?
Y'all see how we doing?
See how warm it is? Short sleeve,
Yes.
no sleeves.
So you call yourself the fly black girl. I see that. I saw that on your Instagram, and I just love that. I just want to know, where did this inspiration to travel come from? Like, where did it all start? When did you decide, like, ooh, I want to go to all these different countries and all these different states, and I just want to explore? Like, when did that become a thought in your mind?
Of course. It kind of conceptualized due to a few things. One, there is this kind of unspoken understanding that people with certain backgrounds or identities don't really travel. In the U.S., I think that's primarily a lot of people from maybe lower working class backgrounds, people of color, and that mobility seems to be like something that was kind of reserved for middle class or upper class families, or white families, or those that might have more access to going on vacation, staying at these resorts, or traveling throughout the year. Traveling is also kind of addicted to me because it tests my limits and it shows what's possible.
Yes.
And I think that in itself is a very almost radical idea, right?
Yeah.
Being a young black woman, traveling alone very often, not coming from a background of wealth or money or necessarily access, and still being able to travel frequently, I think, is almost an act of defiance. I'm a full-time public school teacher, entry-level salary.
I hear that. She got a job too. She
Yeah,
works hard.
I work a full-time job. I have to, and teaching is a job that extends well after the last bell of the day. So, you know, I don't have a ton of money. I don't have a ton of financial capital. I don't have a ton of time. You know, I support myself completely. So traveling also reminds me, it challenges me with my resources, but it also kind of proves that really anything is possible. One thing I've noticed with my work so far is that a lot of people I interact with, a lot of my clients, you know, I realize that they haven't traveled because they don't think they can.
Right. And
that mindset is the biggest, but it's not the money necessarily, it's not the time necessarily. It's not believing that you can do it. Sometimes it's terrifying too, but it's that fear that kind of is packaged in an exciting way.
Right.
So every time I travel and I go to a new country, I'm like, I'm so excited to see what I'm going to do, and then I'm so proud of myself when I leave to see how I navigated the city on my own. How I can navigate a place that speaks a different language that I don't know.
Definitely.
And still be able to connect with people.
So, you know, I know you've been in a lot of places in your life. You've been around the world, around the U.S. and outside the U.S. What has been one of your favorite places to visit thus far?
Ooh, everyone's favorite question. So Thailand is definitely probably a top 3.
Ooh,
I did Bangkok and Phuket in 2017.
Yeah? Wow.
Loved it, loved everything about that experience, loved everything about Thailand.
So when you went to Thailand, did you go by yourself? Did you go with a group of people?
How
was that experience?
I went with a small group. So I went with 2 other girlfriends from New York. We were in New York at the time, and we were meeting another one of my girlfriends who's studying abroad in Bangkok.
Okay, I got you.
So we stayed with her in her dorm. The school's in a more local area, so we got to have that local experience in Bangkok, because Bangkok is very touristy, and so was Phuket. We went to an elephant sanctuary, and that was probably
I bet that was so fun.
That's probably one of the best travel experiences I've ever had.
So is that where you got to, like, you know, did you feed them, pet them, and all that,
so
and everything?
we got a little bit of background information on kind of the mistreatment and the horrors that goes on with elephants.
Right.
So over time, when people sit on the elephant's back, it causes the kind of the vertebrae to concave.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually it'll collapse and kill the elephant.
Wow, I didn't know that. So y'all don't be riding the elephants.
And when you see people do that, tell them to get off the elephant's back.
So, like you just explained to me, one of your favorite vacations, and you've been on so many. What would you say is a dream vacation for you at this point? Like, what is a trip that you're probably already planning it, more likely. If you're already planning it, go ahead and tell us about what that vacation is. Or if not, and you see it in the future happening, let us know a little bit about it.
I always have a top 3 rotating list of destinations. And once one gets visited, that one gets off the list, and the next one in like 4th place gets pushed up.
Gotcha.
So I recently knocked off one. One was Cuba. It was actually in first place. I knocked that one off. And then second place was Brazil.
Yeah.
Well, last week I booked a flight to Rio.
Ain't that something,
And
y'all?
I'm going in September.
Great.
And then South Africa's third on the list. So I'm thinking maybe South Africa for Christmas
Oh, that
this
would be
year of
beautiful.
2019. It'll be warm in South
Yeah.
Africa. I want to do Johannesburg. I want to do Cape Town. So I want to do those two cities. So I'll probably take like 10, 12, 15 days to do
Okay.
that trip.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
yeah.
She's gonna pack me in her suitcase. I'm going with her, y'all. So, we know you just launched your website recently, Roaming with Romie. So tell us a little bit more
RomieWithRomie.com.
about that. RoamingWithRomie.com.
Well,
how did that come about? What inspired?
This was Roaming with Romie is my first business and creative venture.
Okay.
I've been traveling consistently for about 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I've shared my trips on social media. I've shared it with people close to me, and everyone has been asking me since then, can you start a travel blog? How do you
Right.
travel so much? What is your secret? Can you put me on? Your content's so nice. And I've been, hearing the suggestions, and I never seriously thought to do a travel blog. For me, it was, oh, I don't have time, or I don't want to devote the time
Right.
to create a travel blog. So my partner actually, he kind of helped it was kind of our brainchild
Okay.
together. And he was like, well, you said you're interested in entrepreneurship. Well, let's pick something that you do, that you're good at, that you're skilled at. And
Yeah.
the first thing that came to mind for me was traveling.
Right.
So we're like, okay, let's make the website where it's part travel blog and then part trip planning service. Well, I'm plant-based, so there's a whole page
Right.
for plant-based eating while abroad. There's my travel gallery. I have a blog that I try to update about once or twice monthly. Subscribe to the website, so every time there's updates, you'll get an email to go check out the updates or any news. My prices and packaging for the travel agency are also on there, and as well as a trip planning inquiry form. So you just fill out all your personal contact information and what type of trip you're looking for, what type of budget you have, what other needs or wishes you have. You submit that, I receive it, and then, we book consultation from there.
It's an amazing idea. Like, I'm so glad you came up with that plan because, like I said, I have so many friends personally who ask, when they see me going places or like right now, and they're like, oh, how did you get that? So now people can go to a site like yours and figure it out. You guys, she has great tips for how to travel non-expensive, how to find where to stay, great tips in general, and also, like she said, consultation to plan your next trip. So make sure you guys go check out her site. Last question for you. What advice do you have for travelers out there or people who aspire to be travelers, a traveler like yourself? What advice would you give those people to just go ahead and, take that leap and get them going on this journey?
Absolutely. My biggest advice is we have borders in the world, but these borders are man-made. They're socially constructed. They're very political. This earth belongs to us, right? It belongs to us. It belongs to animals. It belongs to all the different entities and spirits that create, and we share it with each other. So the first thing is tell yourself that you are deserving of seeing the world, of getting out of home, getting out of wherever you are, the spaces that you've occupied, and seeing something different. Another piece of advice I would give is there are so many resources out there. So travel is for everybody. That's my mission for Roaming with Romie, is to make travel accessible. That's the business and Venture's mission is to make travel more accessible. And the resources are out there. The websites, the blogs that give you tips. I learned to travel through these resources that are free, that are on the internet. I was a self-taught traveler. And over time, you just learn skills. You make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes. And over time, you become skilled at traveling. No matter what type of income you have, you can travel within your means. And that's what I do. All this information is free and it's on the internet. So if you're really serious, just take some time, maybe twice a week, just to get on the computer and Google like how to travel cheaply, or how to, learn about different international systems. And a lot of the information is also on my website as well. The third advice I would give is, anything that you want in life, you have to do something to get that. The universe will give you what you want, but first it has to see that you want it badly, that you're willing to work for it.
I love it. I love the inspiration. I love the motivation. We thank you for those tips. And you guys have no excuse. Like I said, go check out her website, roamingwithromie.com, because there is no excuse for you not to be able to travel now on a budget and all, okay?
That's
right. So she's here to help you out with that. We thank you again for being with us
Thank you
today.
so much for having me.
Of course.
And thank you.
And thank you guys for joining us for another episode of From the Beginning.
All
now
right.
we're about to go to
Teotihuacan, see some pyramids,
I can't say it,
live our best lives,
All
get in some
right.
culture. So thank you again, so
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank
See y'all
you.
next time.